keep running away. That's ridiculous. Bang, 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 and run away, run away. So we only won 2 battles. We didn't win, we just refused to lose. King George is fighting France and Spain. He's got his hands full over here. And he's looking over his shoulder going, oh man, you guys are a pain in the butt. You want to be free? Go. Be free. Be independent. You're more trouble than you're worth. We didn't win. So, how did we win? Just all by ourselves? No. Somebody was loaning us money. Who do you think would loan us money? You think maybe France and Spain? Wait a minute. You hate the king too? Here's money. Go buy guns. You can help us fight the king. There'll be 3 of us now instead of just 2. So France and Spain loaned us all this money. The end of the American Revolution. Okay, Treaty of Paris. Fighting is over. Wait a minute. Do you think that France and Spain want their money back? How many people except mom and dad are going to loan us money and not ask for the money back? So France and Spain, it's like, come on guys, pay up. So according to the Articles of Confederation, Washington could ask, couldn't demand, and everybody's supposed to pay their fair share. And Virginia went, we'll catch you next month. We're busy growing tobacco right now. We're trying to build up Virginia. And nobody was putting in their fair share. And if they did, they were printing money. Each one of the colonies was an independent country. Like France and Spain, we had Virginia, Massachusetts, Connecticut. And they printed their own money. And they were printing it like it was going out of style. Pretty soon, people would not take money. I said, here, I'll give you $1. You go, I don't want $1. Why not? Because next week it's going to be worth 50 cents. It's losing money. I'll take something useful. Give me chickens. Give me silver. Give me gold. But I'm not going to take that paper money. If people will not take money, what happens to the economy? It stops. And if the economy stops, everybody's in trouble. And so they went, wait a minute, you guys got to go back to Philadelphia and you've got to fix the Articles of Confederation. Add a paragraph, delete a sentence, edit, patch it up, make it work. So they go all rushing off to Philadelphia. Did they modify the Articles of Confederation? No. They scrapped it. They started from scratch. And they came up with the Constitution. Yay! But, these guys were the founding fathers, and they all just agreed. They just kind of sat around with their arms around each other, and there was just unanimous approval for the Constitution, right? No! They almost got into fisticuffs. Benjamin Franklin several times had to stop them from fighting. That's how much they were arguing. Now, who were the 2 groups? You had, first of all, Alexander Hamilton and all of his boys. Did you know that Alexander Hamilton was a monarchist? He did not like King George, but he liked the idea of a king. In fact, he liked it so much, he wanted to take the English system of government and bring it here. We're going to have our own House of Commons, our own House of Lords. We're going to have our own Parliament. And Alexander Hamilton actually asked George Washington if George Washington would be the first king. Fortunately for us, King Washington. George Washington said no. Luckily, now, they went into Philadelphia, and Alexander Hamilton and his boys, they came in with a whole new document. And they said, well, I think we can get this one passed. Now, there are 2 forms of government. On page 13, we look at the definition of federal. Federal is of or pertaining to a compact or league, especially a league between nations or states. It's a club. Now, let's look at national. of, pertaining to, or maintained by a nation as an organized whole or independent unit. So a national government is one. A federal government is many. If we talk about the United States, we are talking about a national government. At the early stages of our country, we talked about these United States. These meaning plural. We don't use that anymore. Why not? So you've got a federal government versus a national government. Now, Alexander Hamilton wanted a national government. He wanted a strong central government. And he wrote the Constitution, or helped write the Constitution, to establish a strong central government. Do you think the people would have voted for that? No. We just had a war against King George. We just got rid of a strong central government. Why would I want another one? So Alexander Hamilton knew that people would never vote for a national government. So he called himself and his group the Federalists. Isn't that great? That's like dog and cat. So he just named his group the Federalists. But he was really a nationalist. Now, Thomas Jefferson and all of his boys wanted a loosely organized government, or a federal government. Thomas Jefferson was a Federalist. Well, wait a minute, you can't use that name because Alexander Hamilton's already got that name. So Alexander Hamilton jumped in. He says, okay, you guys can be the anti-Federalists. If you're an anti-Federalist, does it sound like you're in favor of a loosely organized group or against it? So before the Constitution was even written, our politicians were already lying to us. Now, if you go to... Now, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay wrote newspaper articles. They were basically editorials, trying to convince people to ratify the Constitution, because we think it's such a great idea. Those newspaper articles are collected together and called the Federalist Papers. That was one of the things that we used to have to read in school. Now I've never even heard people don't even know what they are. There's another book known as the Anti-Federalist Papers. Those were written by Patrick Henry and the guys that are against the Constitution. It's a lesser-known book. You should really read both of them. People say, well, we don't know what the Founding Fathers were really thinking. Baloney! We know exactly what they were thinking. They wrote it down. You just have to read it. The politicians say, no, we don't know what they were thinking. We have no idea what they said. So you'll just have to take our word for it. Okay. So let's read a little bit what they said. Alexander Hamilton wrote in Federalist Paper number 9, the definition of a Confederate Republic seems simply to be an assemblage of societies, or an association of two or more states into one state. The extent, modifications, and objects of the federal authority are mere matters of discretion. Like, don't worry your pretty little head about it. Right? So long as the separate organizations of the members be not abolished, so long as it exists by a constitutional necessity for local purposes, though it should be in perfect subordination to the general authority of the Union, it would still be, in fact and in theory, an association of states, or a confederacy. This fully corresponds in every rational import of the term with the idea of a federal government. So he's twisting the words around to say, no, it's really a federal government because we didn't erase all the lines. Patrick Henry wrote in 1788, the fate of this question and America may depend on this. Have they said, we the states? Have they